Good morning. Lesson 3-1, adding integers. There's a couple rules here for adding integers we'll go over. But if it helps, use a number line. So draw yourself a number line and start at 0. So in this problem, -3 plus -4. When you draw your number line, start at 0 and then go to the first number. And the first number is a -3, which would be 3 less than 0. 1, 2, 3. And then from there, adding a negative is subtracting. So you would -4, you'd go 4 more to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd end up at -7. And the same is true if you have a vertical number line. So -5 plus -4, start at 0, go to the first number, -5, and then -4. Whoop, and you'd end up at -9. So if we're adding integers that have the same sign, the sign is what's in front. If there's nothing in front, it's positive. If there's a negative, it's negative. And we often put them in parentheses so you can tell the difference between the operation and the sign, though the sign turns out to be the operation later. So you can use a number line, or we can just get to the idea here. Here's what you do. If you're going to add integers, you're going to add their absolute value, and we'll review what absolute value means. You're going to add their absolute value, and then your answer is same sign as the question. So in this case, the absolute value of -7 is written like this. And how far is -7 from 0? 7. How far is -2 from 0? It's 2. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then the answer is the same sign as the question. Well, the question were negatives, so the answer is negative. So it would be -9. Okay, let's test it down here on the check. These have same sign, both negatives, and we're adding them. So the absolute value here and the absolute value here. Absolute value -5 is 5. Absolute value -11 is 11. 5 plus 11 is 16. These are both negative. And again, if you put it on a number line, here's your 0. You'd go to -5, and then you'd go -11 further, and that would get you to -16. Okay, let's do little words here. I'm on page 129. A contestant on a game show has -1,500 points. He loses another 750. Loses means negative. So what's his new score? Well, he had -1,500 and -750. So we can find the absolute value of those and add those together. 0, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 22, 50. The original questions were negative, so your answer is negative. Then you're going to have to add integers that have different signs. So there's a slightly different rule here. If they have different signs, then we find the difference of their absolute values. So here we need to not add, find the difference of their absolute value. Then, here's where it gets tricky. The answer sign is the larger absolute values sign. So we'll do some examples here. 5 plus -3. Absolute value of 5 is 5. Absolute value of -3 is 3, and we subtract them. Find the difference means to subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. Which one of these numbers had the largest absolute value? Well, the 5, and the 5 was positive, so your answer is positive. Okay, let's try it over here on the check, page 132. Find the sum of 10 and negative 22. So they have different signs, which means we have to find the difference of their absolute values. So we're going to have the absolute value of 10 plus the absolute value of negative 22, which is 10 minus 22. Misty, these are in the wrong order. I know, it's totally fine. Honestly, this is actually how I would do it, is 10 minus 22, and I would get negative 12, but we can work with this. Switch them. 22 minus 10 is 12, and then we can figure out the sign by going to the biggest absolute value, which was 22, and it was negative. So what did I mean when I said I would just do it right here? Here's what I mean. If you put these on a number line, and you started out at 10, well, we started out at 0, and then we moved to positive 10, and then we're going to subtract 22. We're going this way, 22. Well, to get from 10 to 0 is 10. So 22 minus 10 is 12. Means I'd have to go 12 more past 0 to move in total 22. That's what I mean by that. Okay, let's do where we have multiples. This is great. Just do them in any order you want. Here's what you could do. You could do minus 14 plus 8. Find that answer, and then take that answer and add negative 6. Or you could do negative 14 minus 6, and then deal with the 8. And that's the way I'm going to do it. Negative 14, whoopsies, plus negative 6. So if you remember from the first part of today, they both have same sign. This means we add them. 14 plus 6 is 20, and then we give them the same sign as in the question. So we have negative 20, and now we'll have our plus 8. I guess I could write my plus 8 over here. Now I have negative 20 plus 8, which is not to say it's 28. These have different signs. So that means we take their absolute value, and I have 20 minus 8. What's 20 minus 8? 12. And the bigger number is 20, and its sign was negative, so your answer is negative. That's it. That's the whole lesson, guys. Good luck.